Thank you. I'm going to call to order this meeting of the Monroe County Board of Commissioners. It is Wednesday, December 8th, 2021. I will note for the record that all three commissioners are present, and we'll begin with our public statement. We, the Monroe County Board of Commissioners, renew our commitment to welcome and protect the rights of all people, regardless of age, race, color, creed, disability, sexual orientation, gender identity, marital status, economic status, and national origin. And we affirm the right of every person to live peacefully and without fear, and we will fight and resist at every step discrimination and harmful policies, whatever their source. We also stand in support of our county public school systems, both RBB and MCCSC. And with that, we will turn to our department updates, and we will begin with Ms. Caudle from the Health Department. Good morning.
Good morning. Today we will be moving to orange in that state advisory. So for anybody who has been watching our numbers on a daily basis, this probably is not a big surprise to you. Our cases per 100,000 has topped 200 and is nearing 300. Our positivity rate is just under 10%. Every county in Indiana has hit the red metric in terms of cases per 100,000 this week. As for the advisory levels, there is only one small county left in yellow, and they're barely in yellow. There are no blue counties. The rest of the state is either orange or red. Now, if you look surrounding us, we're faring a little bit better than some of our surrounding counties, but no one is in good shape at this point. We are going in the wrong direction along with the state and the country. Delta does continue to be what is circulating, and Omicron has not yet been identified in Indiana. However, that is likely to change and could be changing as we're in this meeting. Case-wise, we are back where we were last year before vaccines started. Hospitalizations also appear to be rising. Our hospitalizations and cases continue to be driven by those who have not been vaccinated. Only about 1% of our cases are in those who are vaccinated, so we're breakthrough cases. So again, most of the hospitalizations, most of the new cases we're seeing are in people who are unvaccinated. If you need testing, going to coronavirus.in.gov is still your best option to find all of the opportunities for testing. The Indiana Department of Health and Gravity site off Curry Pike on the Cook Group property. We have had some conversations with them. They are making some changes to try to ensure that they will not have these frequent closures due to weather. So we are hoping that that will be resolved by next week, if not before. That site is a drive up. No appointment is necessary. If it's closed, then you would need to make an appointment at most of the other sites. So there are very few sites that don't require an appointment. We hope that those frequent weather closings will become a thing of the past. If you have symptoms, you've been a close contact, or you're concerned that you may have been exposed, please do consider testing so that you can respond appropriately. Proper isolation and quarantine measures are important tools for reducing the transmission of this virus. Now, there is an opportunity that's coming near us. The Indiana Department of Health Mobile Clinic, which is ran by the National Guard, will be in Brown County from today through Saturday. Those clinics are open noon to 8 p.m. So that's another opportunity. It is at the Brown County Fairgrounds. That's 802 Memorial Drive in Brown County. Vaccinations and testing both will be available at that clinic. You can make an appointment to make that process a little speedier, but you do not have to have an appointment to go to that drive-through clinic. So this is another opportunity that's nearby for anyone who has resources to travel to Brown County. today through Saturday, noon to 8. Vaccinations, so if you need a booster, they've got all, if you are 5 and above, they have all 3 vaccines available. They have testing available, rapid and PCR. So if you have needs around that, please use those tools and places that are available for you. If you are seeking other places for vaccinations, ourshot.in.gov is the best place to find that availability. We do have 2 second dose super shot clinics at our schools. You remember earlier we were at RBB and at MCC doing first doses, and the time has come to do those second doses for those kiddos. So we will be there this week. And those students will be fully vaccinated by the 25th of December. We continue to do vaccinations in the schools, at the public health clinic, and various outreach events. And in the past 2 days, we've administered almost 300 vaccinations at those different sites. So that does include our schools. We also continue to do flu vaccine and routine vaccinations along with these COVID clinics. In terms of the dashboard, the anticipation of growing questions about Omicron, and the state will be updating the dashboard to reflect this information. So they will add a graph on the variant section that will show the variants that they're seeing each week, and it will follow the CDC's format. So it will list Delta, Omicron, and other. Those will be the 3 things that graph will designate. As we have flu season upon us, we have COVID cases that are rising. In the face of healthcare staff shortages, it will become increasingly harder to get care for the more routine things that we have that we need to be seen for. And some of those that may be seen as more routine can become very critical. So it's not that they are not important. It just means that in that moment, they may not be life-threatening. So we can help our healthcare providers, we can help our community by vaccinating, following regulations and recommendations like mask wearing, distancing, washing hands, staying home and away from others when you are sick. And I will end by saying thank you to everyone who is following the guidance to protect themselves, their families, and our community.
Thank you so much, Ms. Cottle. Comments, questions, Commissioner Jones?
Yeah, this is very, very disappointing news. I think that at this point, it can be said that people who can get vaccinated and have not are being selfish. They are the cause of all of us having to take these precautions to continue to be safe. I hope they'll think seriously about that and take action and get vaccinated.
Thank you. Commissioner Giffens?
Sure. One of the things that we rarely talk about is if you've had COVID, you actually are better protected from another variant if you also get the full vaccination. So having had Delta may not make you safe from Omicron. We don't know at this point. And so the best thing, I don't remember, Ms. Cottle, how long after you've had COVID it's recommended that then you get the vaccinations. Can you share that with us?
Certainly. So you can always talk to your doctor about that. Some of it will depend a little bit on your severity or treatments that you may have received. But in general, for most people, once you have recovered, then you can get vaccinated. Some people may choose to wait a little bit to do that. There is about a 90-day window where you're considered that you don't have to quarantine, for example. But if I were sick and I recovered and I needed vaccination, I would do it as soon as I could once I had recovered. So in general, I would say a couple of weeks, but you might check with your healthcare provider about that just based on your situation.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. And just a reminder to folks that when you are out in the public space, to please wear your masks. This is something that's going to protect the most vulnerable members of our community, and it's going to help reduce the spread of virus in our community, both flu and COVID, and it's protecting our small businesses and all of our residents. So demonstrate you care, and please mask up. And of course, please, please, please get vaccinated if you haven't yet. Now's the time. Excellent. Thank you so much. Sorry that the news isn't great, but we'll keep moving on, and we're hopeful that our new hospital and the new hospital with its staff is going to be able to weather the storm. It's asking a lot of these folks, and that's the other people that we are protecting are all the healthcare providers in our community who have been working so hard and battling these surges. So thank you again, appreciate it. Next up, we have public comment. Public comment is for items that are not on our agenda. Each commenter is limited to a total of 3 minutes of time. And I'm going to actually, before we go do that, I'm going to actually turn to Ms. Ridge, the Highway Department first, see if there's an update. Good morning.
Good morning. I could have done it in public comment, which was fine also.
Okay.
I just wanted to let the public know that the County Highway Garage has changed their phone number. After so many years, and this was necessary to get onto the county-wide VoIP system. So the phones will be carried over for at least a month to the new number from the old number. However, we have put it on our website. We have contacted all emergency services. We had a really smooth transition. I don't think the public was interrupted at all with working with IT, and it went really well in changing out all the phones. The new phone number is 812-803-6810. I know this is a big change, but it was long overdue. Had a lot of echoing and poor reception on the phones out there, and so this will be better for everybody. And again, the phones are being forwarded to the new phone numbers for the next 30 days. And we will make sure everybody, vendors and everything have been notified out there. So, and also I just wanted to just give a shout out to Toby Turner. He's our highway superintendent. Last year at the Indiana Association of County Commissioners, he was awarded Superintendent of the Year. Thank you for your nomination for him. It was well deserved. He was completely surprised, had no idea. So it's great, and he's a great asset to the department. So just wanted to send out a congratulations to him, and that's all I have.
Hey, thank you so much. Congratulations, and thank you for all your hard work to Toby Turner. Excellent, excellent news. It's nice to get a recognition at the statewide level. Not a surprise, but I'm glad it happened. So excellent. Thank you. Mr. Cockrell, legal.
Yes, and along those lines, Toby Turner and I just opened bids for the Highway Garage brine facility, and I just wanted to make that for the record right now. We opened in the Nat U Hill Room, as that's how it was noticed. We had 2 bids, one from Strausser Construction. The base bid was $373,200. We had another bid from Building Associates, and the base bid was $379,700. So Toby's going to take those back, look at that, share those with our architect, and we'll see how we'll proceed.
Right, thank you. I know we've been waiting on that. You could tell Lisa was a little nervous with those amounts. Excellent, thank you for that report. We appreciate it. All right. So with that, I don't see any other department updates. Okay. So with that, we will turn to public comment. Again, this is comment for items that are not on our agenda. Each commenter is limited to a total of 3 minutes. When you come on, we're going to ask you for your name and to see if you're a Monroe County resident. At 2 minutes and 30 seconds, you will hear a tone. And when you hear that tone, that means you have 30 seconds remaining to complete your statement. It looks like we have one hand raised under the name Mandy Yates. Could you confirm, good morning, could you confirm your name and whether or not you're a Monroe County resident?
Hi, yes, good morning. My name is Mandy Yates. I am a Monroe County resident, and I am the outgoing president of Monroe County now. I am calling in this morning because I am disappointed to hear that Clerk Brown has been taken off the work session agendas for the rest of the year. I have been paying attention to the issue of the expansion of Election Central, and I have been very disappointed in the process and in the manner in which Nicole Brown has been treated during the process. I feel like the commissioners should make a decision on expansion and do it quickly. Thank you for your time. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mandy Yates. We appreciate that. Looks like we don't have any other hands raised. Commissioner Githens, did you want to respond?
Yeah, we were very disappointed by some of the things that were said at the most recent Monroe County Election Board meeting. To hear ourselves and to hear people in our office called liars and obfuscators is very disrespectful. And we're happy to work with the election board to negotiate options, to hear their suggestions, but only if the dialogue is respectful. We've asked for and have been promised a written report regarding the space requirements for each aspect of the election services, the storage, their equipment, early voting, ballot processing, training, all the different functions. And we've been waiting for this report since September. We still don't have it in hand. And again, we wanted a written report. We have offered more than 11,500 square feet of facility space that's readily available. The election board needs to decide how it wants to utilize that space. We have also offered to purchase and install mobile track storage units to help lessen the overall need for that storage space. Something that we haven't heard the election board either discuss or vote on. Just to let the public know, we now have another meeting scheduled between the election board and the Monroe County Board of Commissioners to discuss and hopefully to make a decision on the use of the Napa building and or the space in the Showers building for the 2022 election cycle. Until the issues for the 2022 election cycles have been sorted out, though, we ask that the election board members refrain from joining our Board of Commissioner meetings. We don't feel like we've been making progress with them through that venue, and that's why we've opted to have these joint meetings. Thank you.
The Board of Commissioners has responsibility for all county buildings. That means providing space for all departments, including probation. Before we consider moving any department, we consult with the department head or elected official to assess their current and future space needs and look to see what might be done. We know, for example, that there are offices in the Showers building that are currently occupied by the Highway Department, but in another year or two, they will be vacant as the Highway Department moves to the County Highway Garage. This will free up space in the Showers building. We will be looking at how to best utilize that space. We understand the convenience of having all equipment under one roof. However, given the limited space availability and cost of acquiring more space in the downtown Bloomington area, we ask that the Monroe County Clerk and the Election Board understand that doing that would go against our philosophy of being good stewards of taxpayer money. Allocating space for training, which is not used for more than 2/3 of the year, is untenable. With that said, we are happy to hear from the election board regarding the following: a specific request to remodel the facilities we have offered to the election board. Time is of the essence here. It is difficult to find contractors at a moment's notice. If we can get the information before the end of the year, this would be preferable, as it provides additional time to address these requests for the 2022 election cycle. And contracts. All contracts must be approved by the commissioners. This includes the purchase of capital goods and personnel-related contracts for election services. If there is uncertainty about what can and cannot be purchased or agreed to outside of our office, please contact Angie Purdy or your representative in the legal department.
And to be clear and to repeat the same information as we have before, additional space in the Johnson Hardware Building is not available for 2022. It may or it may not be possible to ensure. We don't know, and we won't know for some time as we are managing a number of priority issues relating to the criminal justice reform study. And what we're asking for is that we are focused on 2022 before we turn our attention to 2024. To delay completing preparations for 2022 at this point would, I believe, be irresponsible. So this is common sense to us. Keep in mind that when new voting machines were requested, we worked with the election board to make that happen. When a renovation of Election Central was requested in 2020, we worked quickly to make that happen. Paying a premium to have a contractor work over a holiday weekend to make that happen in order to minimize the disruption to the election office. As residents of Monroe County, we are dismayed that some decisions appear to be made outside of public meetings by the election board. Clerk Brown indicated that she has suggested potential early voting satellite locations, but the public has not heard what was suggested, where, and who vetoed them, and how they were, what the vote was. The public deserves to know this information. We'd like to point out that per Indiana code, it is incumbent on the members of the election board and no one else to make decisions on whether or not there should be satellite voting and where those locations are. So repeat what has already been said, disagreements on policies, facility use, procedure, it's always worthy of debate. We're not going to open our work session unless we have agenda items that are new. And we won't allow unfounded attacks on our character, and we won't sanction negativity and incivility because it never leads to progress. So we look forward to working with the election board in planning for 2022 and beyond. But we must stress that discussions must be civil in order for us to make progress. And so with that, we will move on to our next agenda item, please.
Move approval of the minutes, December 1st, 2021.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments, corrections, edits?
No.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Copper, will you please call the roll on approval of the minutes, December 1st, 2021?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Githens.
Yes.
Motion is approved, 3-0.
Right, and next item, please.
Approval of the claims docket, accounts payable, December 8th, 2021.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and we have Mr. Miller joining us to tell us all about it. Good morning.
Good morning, commissioners. The total for claims was very large this time, $208,534.26. $80,424,327.37 of that was for settlement distribution. $385,535.50 was for Centerstone for mental health services. $190,344 was for Convention Center management for contractual services. $178,395.14 was for the city of Bloomington for the animal shelter for the interlocal agreement. $164,101.32 was for Landscape Structures Inc. For Carson Farm Park equipment for the playground. $670.89 was for Lara Cap Group 21 LLC for tax sale surplus and redemption. $102,994.83 was for Milestone Contractors for paving contract for the Rock East Road. And also worth noting, a large item of $87,587.50 for Community Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram for a Ford F-550.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mr. Miller. Comments, questions? Commissioner Jones?
No, I don't.
Commissioner Githens?
Who gets the new truck?
The Highway Department. And if I could have effectively used a line from the Tool Man, I might have thrown that in there, but I didn't want to put that.
Excellent. Let's see if there's any public comment on this item. Raise your hand in the Zoom screen, please. Okay, seeing none. I'm sorry. Okay, seeing none, we'll come back to the board for a vote. Mr. Cockrell, will you please call the roll on approval of the claims docket, December 8th, 2021?
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Commissioner Githens.
Yes.
Motion is approved, 3-0.
Thank you so much.
Excellent, thank you. I will note for the record that we have received 2 reports, the first from the clerk of the circuit court for October of 2021, and the other from Weights and Measures, October 16th to November 15th, 2021. And with that, we will move on to new business, please.
Move to approve ratification of Juvenile Detention Alternative Initiative, or JDAI, grant amendment for performance bonus. Fund name, JDAI Performance Grant, fund number 9146, in the amount of $95,000.
Second, sorry.
I was going to do that. We have a motion and we have a second, and we have Ms. McAfee joining us. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, commissioners and Monroe County. This is really exciting for us to be in front of you. And before I go into that, thank you for the grace of being able to modify our agenda request. That was totally on me. I got so excited about money, I just started giving it out and not really paying attention to things. So what you have before you is correct. Every year with JDAI, the state figures out how much extra money they might have. And then they kind of reward communities that have done above and beyond. So we get a report card at the end of our grant cycle, and we get points for things that we did well. And this year, Monroe County was able to score in the exceptional category, which is no surprise to any of us that are doing this work, but it was really nice to be recognized for that. So what we were able to do is ask for additional funds that are intended to support the work that we're already doing. So what you have in front of you is the $95,000, and what we will intend to do with that is $45,000 will go to our partners at the Center for Children's Law and Policy. They've been working with us for, over a year. They did an amazing community community assessment, and they're really trying to help us explore diversion opportunities for kids and families. And these won't just be diversion that once you come to us, we can hook you into, but we're really trying to figure out how can the community help us in this endeavor? How can we prevent kids from even walking in the front door of the probation department? So we're super excited to be able to continue to fund those efforts. And then $50,000 will go to continue, again, the efforts that we started last year with Laura for consulting. Laura is a nationally recognized expert in developing plans and sustainability for authentic youth and family engagements. That's something that we've not done very well in the youth justice system. And we really are working very, very hard to ensure that those who are impacted by the decisions and recommendations, practices, programs, policies, all of those things that we work so hard to create, that we have the vision of youth and families who are impacted by these recommendations sitting with us at the table to kind of guide us and steer us in what would be best practices from their lens as well.
All right, thank you so much. Comments, questions, Commissioner Jones?
Yeah, congratulations on your exceptional achievement. And I just want to say that what JDI AI is doing is so important and actually dovetails very nicely with what the Community Justice Response Committee is working on. Possibly more from an adult level, but really we're looking at diverting people at all levels from getting involved in the justice system. So I'm very supportive of the work you're doing and definitely want to see it move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Githens?
Yeah, just kudos. Obviously, you all are doing a great job, and I love the programming that you're looking at. I think it's just right on target for what needs to happen.
Yeah, and yeah, congratulations to you and your staff. Amazing work all throughout the year. It's gratifying to see that others recognize all of your achievements, and I think these program ideas are phenomenal. So kudos on that. Let's see if there's any public comment on this item. Raise your hand in the Zoom screen. I see none. We'll come back to the board. Mr. Cockrell, will you please call the roll on the ratification of the JDAI grant amendment for performance bonus?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Githens.
Yes.
Motion is approved, 3-0.
Excellent. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. And before I sign off, I also just want to say this is really a reflection of Monroe County and our community. You know, we're kind of in the front lines, but boy, we couldn't do it without the support of our agency leaderships, county leadership, and all of the good folks of the community. So thank you all very much, and hope you have safe holidays.
Thank you. You as well. All right, we'll move on to the next item, please.
Move to approve ordinance 2021-59 to create a high-tech crime unit fund. Fund name, high-tech crime unit, fund number 9159 in an amount that is not applicable.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second, and we have Ms. Rice here from legal.
Good morning. Good morning, commissioners. If it's a little noisy out here, I apologize. I'm actually out with Parks, and we are doing a punch list on the new trail that's going to open from Ellettsville to Woodyard Road. So want to thank you guys to let the public know that's going to be opening soon. Thank you guys for all the support you've given, the money, the approval of contracts to get this done. And we should be starting, we'll get bids next week on the second phase of this trail, which will connect Woodyard Road to the current Carrs Farm Greenway. So we're making some trail progress. But speaking of being on the front lines in criminal justice efforts, the prosecutor's office has worked with the university and secured a grant with the Indiana Prosecuting Attorneys Council to create a high-tech crime unit. You remember in November, I came to you guys with an MOU that you approved. This is an ordinance to create the fund for those dollars to go into. So it's pretty simple. I worked with the auditor's office, got the fund number. IPAC had already given us a template for a fund creation, which I used, and all of the units across Indiana will have these sorts of funds to deposit the money into. I will be coming back to you at some point in the future for another agreement between the prosecutor's office and Indiana University, because this effort is a combined effort between the university and the Monroe County Prosecutor's Office. So they are going to be leading the effort for multi-counties to be able to have this high-tech crime unit that will serve all of these different counties and be able to process digital evidence. So we do have Jeff Kerr here if you have any questions for him about the substance, but today it's really just a very simple ordinance to create a fund to deposit the grant dollars into.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ms. Rice, and thanks for your work in the field. Wish today were just a bit warmer for you.
Yes.
Mr. Kerr from the prosecutor's office, did you want to add anything?
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. I would just like to say that on behalf of Prosecutor Eric Oliphant and our office, we're really excited about this opportunity, and we really appreciate the commissioner's support in this endeavor.
All right, thank you. Well, let's see if there are comments, questions. Commissioner Jones?
No, I think I asked all the questions I had earlier when it was brought to us. It's an exciting program, and I suspect one that's really needed. So I'm very pleased to see it moving forward.
Commissioner Giffens?
Yeah, I'm excited to see this get moving. I think it's kind of almost overdue, given how technology has changed so rapidly over the last decade. So kudos to everybody here who's made this happen.
Thank you.
Yeah, huge thanks. This is a great idea. And as Commissioner Giffen says, it's an idea past its time. We're really excited to see all the progress that can be made. And it's wonderful. This is a multi-county effort. And I think that's going to help as well. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Appreciate being here today. So let's see if there's any comments from the public. Raise your hand in the Zoom screen. Okay, seeing none, we'll turn back to the board for a vote. Mr. Cockrell, will you please call the roll on ordinance 2021-59?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Giffens.
Yes.
Motion is approved, 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
commissioners. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks. Next item, please.
Move to approve ordinance 2021-57 to amend the zoning ordinance, chapter 815, with the addition of phasing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and we have Ms. Nestergel in here from planning. Good morning. Tell us all about it.
Hi, good morning, commissioners. Can you see my screen okay with chapter 815? Okay, great. So just a quick summary of this text amendment. This is ordinance 2021-57. It's amendment to chapter 815, which is site plan review. And the request this morning is to add on an addition to allow for phasing of larger projects. So right now we allow for phasing under our subdivision control ordinance, and we also allow for phasing for lands that are zoned plan unit development. The only thing that this leaves out is for properties that are zoned by right, not a plan unit development, that do not involve a subdivision, are currently left out of the phasing possibility. So we are adding this in to be consistent with other parts of the ordinance. And I'll just give you a quick overview of what this phasing of larger projects means for the development community, as well as the county who will be administering this new policy. So most important, this will only be applicable to projects that are at least 5 acres in size. One question that I received from Ms. Giffens prior to the meeting today is there a minimum size for each phase? There will not be a minimum size for each phase. However, we anticipate and we will be seeing the first phase as the most likely largest phase, because we're going to require that first phase to have all offsite improvements, all stormwater improvements that are necessary to cover the initial development. So that first phase is going to include more parking, more offsite, maybe deceleration, acceleration lane, turn lane, stormwater bioretention facilities, things like that, landscaping. Everything has to be standalone within each phase. So though there's not a minimum per phase, the first phase, we understand as it's written, will be considerably larger because it does have to be standalone and meet the initial requirements of the development. So the benefit of phasing for the planning department and for the county and the developer is that we can potentially reduce the amount of ground that is disturbed at the initial onset of the project if they choose to do so in phases. Additionally, it allows us to see the entire scope of the project at once without limiting their ability to occupy structures as they're completed within phases. But it still gives us the protection and the leverage of future phases and future buildings that are tied to later requirements and making sure each phase is standalone by the ordinance. So I talked a little bit about the applicability. They have to be at least 5 acres. When we're talking about phasing, how we will review this in the planning office is that they're actually going to have both an illustrative map clearly delineating each phase, as well as a combined narrative. So we understand that both of these will be able to be enforceable by the county if and when they get to the point where they're requesting occupancy and a land use certificate from planning. So we think that these 2 items together will give us a strong ability to enforce the ordinance. So the illustrative map delineating each boundary plus a narrative description to go along with that boundary. In addition, for each phase, what we will be looking at is, each phase will be standalone, but we will also be wanting to see overlapping phases for improvements that, let's say at the beginning, there'll be initial stormwater facilities that have to be sediment basins until the construction is further along. And then at a later phase, we will require actual landscaping and plantings to be within those bioretention. So there'll be some ability to have some overlap so that we don't miss anything as we go along, but we don't require things too early in the process that may cause landscaping to die, early on, and then we have to have them replanted again, which is sometimes an issue. So that's what's covered in this phasing agreement. This is a overview. It's also in the packet. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those for you. Or yeah.
Thank you so much. What a great, thorough explanation. And let's see if there are comments or questions. Commissioner Jones?
Yeah, I think this is an excellent amendment to the chapter. It really makes sure that things go the way they're supposed to, which doesn't always happen. So I'm very supportive of this.
Commissioner Gittens?
Yes, we've seen problems in the past when this was not in place. And so I hope it'll ease things both for the planning department and for people that are looking to build within Monroe County.
Yeah, excellent. And I don't have any questions. Appreciate that this has been brought forward, and I believe this is going to really help folks in our community who have these projects achieve what they want to in a more timely manner, and at the same time protect Monroe County residents from things like stormwater runoff and things like that in the process. So appreciate the hard work. And let's see if there's any public comment on this item. Folks could raise their hand on the Zoom screen. Lost my screen. Mr. Cassidy, Randy Cassidy? You could verify that caller's name and also whether or not you're Monroe County resident.
Yeah, Randy Cassidy, Monroe County resident. Camera's not working for whatever reason.
Okay.
So I have no idea why. But very, very simply put, based on this ordinance, how does this affect particularly the phasing of a project that will be under 5 acres?
So Randy, if you're speaking to a property that is zoned plan unit development or is in a subdivision, this will not be affecting that scenario. But if you were speaking to a property that was zoned, another zone that's in chapter 802 or chapter 833 of the zoning ordinance, you would not be able to do a phasing of a property smaller than 5 acres.
Does that answer? Okay, so in regards to the specific project in Clear Creek, this won't have any impact on the phasing.
You have, yeah, that one is approved phasing as part of the PUD. So this text amendment allows phasing that's similarly given to PUDs or subdivisions. So this won't affect the PUD.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Cassidy. And thank you, Mrs. Nestor Jelen, for addressing the question. See if there's any other public comment or questions. Okay, seeing none, we'll come back to the board for a vote. Mr. Cockrell, will you please call the roll on ordinance 2021-57?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Githens.
Yes.
Motion is approved, 3-0.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, next item, please.
Move to approve Resolution 2021-63, 2022 appeals and meeting dates, and Resolution 2021-64, Board of Commissioners meeting dates.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second. So Ms. Purdy, if you would talk about the first one, which is 2021-63.
Most certainly. This resolution provides for the posting and notification of the appeals hearing dates that the Board of Commissioners is charged with addressing. Those are appeals from township assistance appeals, persons aggrieved by a decision by an animal management commission, and then also by the highway department. So since we're relatively lucky, I think, in the fact that those appeals are minimal, we've put them all on kind of the same date. So what we have done is provided the, not date, but day of the week, so Thursdays. And these will begin in January and go throughout the course of next year. So this is kind of a housekeeping issue. We get these presented and dispersed to the newspapers at the end of the year.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ms. Purdy. Are there any comments or questions on this, Commissioner Jones?
No, I don't.
Commissioner Githens?
No, will we be voting separately on these two resolutions?
I think potentially. So I thought maybe we could discuss each one first and then think about what we want to do. I will say that this is, just one of the many things that we do as county commissioners that folks are probably not aware of. But there is a time-sensitive nature to these appeals. I have a question about whether if we're under into the new year, if we're under a emergency order from the governor, and we can't meet in person or should not meet in person because they're not appropriately timed for public health reasons, how we would manage these meetings, because right now it says Nat U Hill Room.
Correct. What we would do is we would just notice that particular hearing, or depending on if it's in a month or the situation with the emergency order, as remote hearings, and we do them by Zoom is what the county's been using.
Okay, excellent.
And I would just add to that, you know, some of these appeals involve people who, the township's appeals particularly, who may not be able to access the internet, and we certainly provide that ability in the courthouse.
Yes.
Yeah, and we have done that in the past, and we appreciate that flexibility, so that there is a place they can go to attend the meeting, even if the rest of us are not there in person for public health reasons. The other item, if you would talk about 2021-64.
This is another housekeeping item for next year. Can't believe it's going to be 2022 already. These are the proposed monthly commissioner meeting dates. I would like to make a point for everybody that's listening that our commissioners meet multiple times in a month, when many commissioners at counties are only meeting one time. So I think that this is important for everyone to notice. So,
yeah, excellent. Comments, questions, Commissioner Jones?
No, I don't.
Commissioner Giffens?
Yeah, I was actually doing research on some of the other counties in the state yesterday, and want to echo what Ms. Purdy just shared. Some of the commissioners meet once a month. Some meet twice a month. I didn't see anybody that meets weekly the way we do. And we do that in part so that we're as responsive as possible to citizens and to our own departments. So thank you for reminding me about that, Ms. Purdy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do want to give a shout out to Ms. DeLauder Myers as well in our office for putting all these calendar dates together. She really had to look at every possible holiday under the sun, which there are many more than most people would think. Yeah, I agree. We're in a position where we have moved things forward for the county. And yes, there are some times when things in government run more slowly than folks would want, but I think that's part of the deliberative process to ensure ample opportunity for public input on especially on items that really are important to community members. But it is something that we've been doing, and I think what I would like to do, given the fact that we have we're waiting for some action by the council, I would move that we continue resolution 2021-64 to next week's meeting.
Second that.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to continue that item. This is a lot of work. It's a lot of work for our staff, of course, and they make it look easy, but it is a lot of work for us, and it is very time consuming, and we are really concerned that our time is not really being respected right now. So we would like to hold off on that. So Mr. Cockrell, will you please call the roll on continuing resolution 2021-64 to the December 15th commissioners meeting?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Giffens.
Yes.
Motion to continue resolution 64 is approved 3-0.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mr. Cockrell. And so we can come back now to resolution 2021-63. Is there anything else that anybody wishes to add to this or comment on regarding this?
I did notice when I ran through that whole long list that there is one that's on a Wednesday, because Dina DeLauder-Meyer took such care with every single detail. So thank you to her.
Good job. All right. Excellent. And Mr. Cocker, will you please call the roll on resolution 2021-63?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Giffens.
Yes.
Motion is approved 3-0.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Purdy. We appreciate your hard work as always.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the next item, please.
Move to approve supplemental number 7 with Trail and Greenways Engineering, Inc. Fund name, Cumulative Capital Trails, fund number 1138, in the amount of $25,400.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second, and Ms. Ridge has patiently waited for us. So thank you. Tell us all about it, Ms. Ridge.
Good morning again. We've had to do some additional design work and some pothole locating for the water line. Additional utility work, right-of-way services, and then also the pre-bid construction design coordination. We have, if it is approved, we will be sending this to NDOT for a FEMA's request to help with the funding of this supplemental for an 80-20 split. So yes, and this is still let to go in March, April. We've been kind of going back and forth with those dates, trying to reach an agreement with the water company, but we're still in hopes that this will go to letting this spring for construction next year.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Comments, questions, Commissioner Jones?
No, it'll just be wonderful when this trail is all ready.
Commissioner Gittens?
No, we always get such good detail in advance from Ms. Ridge that it's pretty self-explanatory once I've read it. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your hard work as always. Let's see if there's any public comment on this item. Folks can raise their hand on the Zoom screen. Seeing none, Mr. Cockrell, will you please call the roll on approval of the Bicentennial Pathway Project Phase 1 Supplemental number 7?
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Gittens.
Yes.
Motion is approved, 3-0.
Right. Thank you so much. All right, we don't have any appointments today, but we have a few announcements. So please bear with us. First of all, because it is December, we want to remind folks who are interested to consider applying for our boards and commissions. There are many opportunities to apply your talent, time, and experience to help make Monroe County better. Just go to co.monroe.in.us and check out all of those board and commissions, and you could fill out an application that way as well. I want to note that the remonstrance process continues through January 6th for annexation for parcel owners in the county who are targeted for annexation by the city of Bloomington. You have a number of opportunities before January 6th to file your remonstrance, which is in essence saying, I am opposed to annexation. So of course, you may file your paperwork by going to Monroe County Courthouse in the north door on the main level, right inside the door. The auditor's office is set up and is helping folks as they come in with information and the paperwork that they need. Now through January 5th, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays only, 3 to 6 p.m. at 1010 South Walnut in the public meeting room. There's another opportunity to remonstrate at that location. And they've made arrangements at the Monroe County Fairgrounds, December 13th, 14th, and 15th, 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. and Sunday, December 19th from 1 to 3 p.m. So that's at the Monroe County Fairgrounds. You can call 812-361-4424 for additional information or contact the county auditor. A note that township assistance funding continues to be available as long as the governor's order remains in place, and that is through the end of December. And we have some blood drives scheduled, and thanks to Emergency Management and Ms. Petroline for organizing this. Thursday, December 16th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and Friday, December 17th from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. Both are at the Mill, which is at 642 North Madison. You can go to redcross.org to make your appointment. In addition, we have information on some in-person Community Voices for Health meetings that are coming up, and these are opportunities for folks in the community to share their input on how to build stronger voices and transform decision-making on healthcare in Monroe County. December 9th in Ellettsville from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Town Hall Meeting Room. You could also attend in Salt Creek Township, December 15th, 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the Scenic View Restaurant. The easiest way to get involved is to make your reservation to attend either of these meetings, voices@cgmcenter.org, or you can call 812-322-0381. You may also text at that same number. Accommodations, including childcare, are available to eliminate any barriers to participation, but we encourage folks in the rural areas to get involved and to attend these meetings. Vaccinations and masks are required. So please get involved and share your ideas about healthcare. Our next meeting is December 15th, 10 a.m. right here on this Zoom channel. And I want to see if my colleagues have anything else they wish to add.
No. I have two things. There's on the front page of today's paper at the very bottom, there's information where people can call if they have questions about the remonstrance process. I was pleased to see that there today. And I think just, sometimes we say a phone number really quickly and folks don't catch it. So it's there for people when they want it. Also, that last meeting for the health input, is that at Trailhead or at Scenic View? I thought it was at Trailhead and that they were offering pizza.
I have Scenic View on the flyer.
Okay, we'll have to
But
sort that out.
Folks will have to make a reservation anyway, so they will be able to get the location information.
Right. But there is pizza offered at that one. And maybe I'm confusing it because the pizza's from Trailhead and they're taking it to Scenic View. So.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. Thank you so much. Many thanks again to our great folks at TSD. With that, we are going to have our work session. Would 11:20 work for folks to start our work session? Okay, so our work session will begin at 11:20 a.m. And with that, we are adjourned. Please get vaccinated.